Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Today, we're diving into something I know hits home for a lot of you out there.
Yeah.
It's managing stress
Mm-hmm.
when your family includes kids on the autism spectrum.
Absolutely.
And we've got a great source today from Cheapaba.
Really practical stuff.
It's so key, right? To
And-
just acknowledge the pressures
Oh yeah,
that families like these are dealing with.
it's huge.
And, we're not saying we can make stress disappear.
Right.
That's unrealistic.
It's not about making it zero.
But it's about giving you ways to handle it.
Exactly.
So it doesn't just totally overwhelm you.
And this article jumps right in. It names these common stress triggers.
Work-life balance.
Oh, huge.
Right, that's everyone.
Everyone.
But then you add in those moments
Yeah.
where challenged behaviors pop up. And on top of it all, just this
Nagging feeling, are you doing enough
Yeah.
to support your child's development? I can't even imagine.
oh, and it's so real. And the article points out something so important.
Okay.
Everyone in the family experiences this stress differently,
Uh-huh.
and how we cope. Totally different.
Yeah.
So communication is key. We'll get into how to actually deal with that
Yeah.
a bit later. But one thing that really struck me was how much they talked about respite care.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's a 24/7 thing.
Yeah, it's not like this is take a break from parenting for a few hours.
There's constant, and without a break, burnout is huge.
Yeah, you said it.
Huge. And they actually say,
Yeah.
meet the respite care person beforehand.
Yes.
If you're on the fence.
Yeah.
Like dip your toe in.
Exactly. Build that trust.
Yeah.
For everyone involved, parents, the kid, the caregiver.
Hmm.
And speaking of taking care of you,
Yes, please.
they had some great strategies. Positive self-talk.
Oh, I love this one because
It's so easy to spiral, right?
it is.
But they're like, nope, catch those thoughts and swap them out with good ones.
Yes.
So instead of I'm failing as a parent, it's I'm here, I'm trying my best.
That's what mattered.
And that's what matters.
Right.
Tiny change.
Huge difference.
And that goes hand in hand with self-compassion.
Oh, there we go.
Being kind to yourself, especially when things are tough.
Just acknowledging that, hey, everyone struggles.
Mhm.
It's okay to feel overwhelmed.
Mm.
We're not pretending it's not hard.
Right.
It's about being nice to yourself through it.
It's like they emphasize self-care a lot in this.
They do. And rightfully so. You know how on a plane they say put your mask on first
Yes.
before helping others?
Mm.
It's that you can't be the best parent if you're running on empty.
You can't.
So they get into these relaxation techniques,
Oh.
even just 10 minutes a day.
Right.
Mindfulness breathing exercises.
It makes a difference.
Big difference.
It really does.
And it doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing.
Right.
Maybe it's a little meditation before bed.
Sure.
Some stretches in the morning.
Yeah.
Just getting outside for a few deep breaths.
Yeah.
Find what works for you.
Make it a habit. And when I hear relaxation, I picture
Oh, yeah.
bubble baths and candles, which, come on,
Right.
not happen most days.
Practical.
But sometimes relaxing for me is just like a good book
Yes.
or some hobby time.
And that actually is perfect because the articles make time for that stuff.
Yes.
Not just everyone in the family.
It's so important for everyone to have that outlet
Right.
to recharge.
Because when everybody gets that little bit.
This makes the whole family stronger.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all about finding that balance.
Totally.
Yeah.
And speaking of family time,
The article had really cool ideas for how to make that time together better, less stressful,
like what?
like actual things you can do.
Traditions.
Oh, nice.
Or activities everyone can enjoy.
Even with the
Unique needs of a child with autism.
I love that they focus on that because it's so easy to get
Yeah.
caught up
Yeah.
in the challenges.
But finding ways to connect and have FUN together,
Right.
even amidst all that, it's huge.
It's like building those good memories
Yes.
so that when the tough stuff hits,
Exactly.
you've got that to draw on.
A reservoir of joy.
I like that.
A reservoir. And that makes me think of another point they made, building a support network.
So important.
Whether it's family, friends,
Yes.
a support group where people just get IT,
Mhm.
or even going back to that respite care,
You're not alone.
it makes such a difference to have that village.
It does.
To know you're not alone in this,
And sometimes,
that help.
yeah,
It might need to be professional.
of course.
They mentioned Cheapaba could be good for connecting with support groups, other families,
Right. As a resource.
but even beyond that.
If it gets to be too much,
Absolutely.
it's okay to get professional help.
Please don't hesitate. It's not weak to ask for help.
No.
It's strong.
It's taking care of yourself and your family.
Exactly.
So we've talked about recognizing stress triggers. We've talked about self-care support systems, even respite care.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I thought was interesting was how much the article talked about gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems a little bit, I don't know, counterintuitive.
Right.
Like when you're that stressed,
Yeah.
how does being thankful actually help?
Exactly. It's not about pretending the hard stuff isn't there.
Right.
It's about like purposely shifting your focus,
Okay.
even if it's just for a few minutes every day, to appreciate the good things, no matter how small.
Yeah, like actively looking for those little wins.
Exactly.
Did they have any advice on how to actually do that?
You did. They said try this.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Write down a few things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
It could be anything. It could be your coffee, a laugh you shared with your kid, even just a quiet moment when you didn't think you'd get one.
Right, like those little things.
Those little things can make a huge difference.
They can.
Yeah.
And, it's like that saying gratitude turns what we have into enough.
Oh, I like that.
And when you come from that place of enough,
Yeah.
it can really like take the edge off the stress,
Absolutely.
make room for more happiness and contentment,
Mm-hmm.
which I think leads perfectly into this because all this stuff we've been saying,
Yeah.
the self-care, the support, even this gratitude.
They're all like building blocks for something bigger.
What's that?
Resilience.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
And when we talk about resilience here,
Yeah.
we're talking about your ability to bounce back from these challenges,
Okay.
to adapt, to keep going.
So like when things get hard,
Yeah.
you can roll with the punches.
Exactly. And the best part
Yeah.
is it's not something you're born with.
Okay.
It's a skill you can build.
So it's like going to the gym,
Kind of.
but for your mind.
There you go.
Mm.
The more you use these strategies,
Okay.
the stronger you get at handling tough situations.
I like that. So it's like building mental muscle. The
Exactly.
more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Yes. And the more resilient you are,
Mm-hmm.
the more equipped you'll be to deal with the ups and downs
Of course.
of parenting, especially a child with autism.
Yeah, it's not always easy, but the more you can kind of bounce back from those tough moments,
Right.
the better it is for everyone.
It makes a world of difference.
And you know one thing I really like about this article
Yeah.
is they're honest about the challenges, but they also point out the good stuff.
Yes. Because it's so important to have that balance.
Right. It's not all doom and gloom.
Exactly.
There's a lot of beauty and joy to be found, too.
Definitely.
It's like, hey, you're doing a good job.
Don't forget to see the positive.
Exactly. While acknowledging the very real difficulties these families face,
Yeah.
they remind us that autistic children often have unique strengths and talents
Absolutely.
and perspectives
Yeah.
that can enrich everyone around them.
It's about celebrating those differences,
It is.
recognizing that they're not something to be afraid of
Absolutely.
or to try to fix.
Right.
And that's so important for everyone, but especially for the kids.
Especially for the kids.
Yeah.
And that shift in thinking
Mhm.
from like a deficit-based view
Right.
to appreciating the whole child can be so powerful
Yeah.
for both the child and the family.
It's about embracing the journey,
Mhm.
celebrating the milestones.
Yes.
Big and small.
And trying to find those little moments of joy.
And the everyday stuff.
Love it. And you know what else goes along with that?
What's that?
Advocating for your child.
Oh, that's huge. They kind of dance around it.
They do. They talk about services and resources,
Yeah.
but they don't explicitly say how crucial parents are as advocates.
It's like they talk about getting access to resources, but a lot of times
Yeah.
we have to fight for those resources.
You do.
Fight for our kids to be included,
Yes.
to have their needs met.
And that is so important. Parents are often their child's strongest advocate,
Mm.
whether it's working with the school to make things more inclusive,
Right.
educating friends and family about autism. Yeah.
Or even just fighting for access to therapies and support.
It can be a lot,
It's a huge responsibility.
but it's also so rewarding
It is.
to know that you are your child's voice,
Yes.
that you are there
Yeah,
to make sure that their needs are met,
exactly.
that they have every opportunity to thrive.
And that circles back to self-care
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
and support
Right.
because you can't be an effective advocate.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't do it if you're running on fumes.
So it's that balancing act.
It is.
Taking care of yourself so you can take care of everyone else.
Yes.
And recognizing that both are equally important.
Absolutely.
And you know, it makes me think about something else the article touches on,
What's that?
connection.
Oh, and I think they're talking about it on a couple different levels.
Right. We've talked about building a network.
With other people?
Family, friends, professionals.
Right.
But it goes deeper than that.
Okay.
It's about those emotional connections.
Within the family.
Within the family unit.
So it's not just about being in the same room.
No, it's about being present.
Being present.
Engaging in things they enjoy.
Yeah.
Finding ways to communicate and share joy.
So it's about really like strengthening those bonds.
Yes.
Creating those moments of true connection.
Exactly. I love that because it's in those moments, right?
Yes.
Those little everyday interactions,
right.
That's where the magic happens.
That's where the magic happens. It really is about finding those little moments.
It is. And the article even says, finding those activities that you can all do together.
Right.
Reading a book, going for a walk, just like cuddling up and talking.
Those everyday things can be so powerful.
Totally. Like that saying the family that plays together stays together.
Yes.
But with this extra layer of like...
really being present.
And being mindful.
Intentional.
And that makes me think of another thing.
What's that?
Communication.
Oh, key.
They touch on it, but I feel like we could do a whole deep dive on communication alone.
Absolutely.
What do they have to say about it?
Well, they said open and honest communication is super important.
Okay.
Especially for managing stress as a family.
So it's not just about like...
talking at each other.
No.
It's about actually hearing each other. Exactly. It's about creating that space where everyone feels safe.
Yes.
To say what they're feeling, what they need.
And that includes your child too, right?
100%.
Even if your child's nonverbal.
Right.
There are still ways to figure out what they're trying to say.
Absolutely. Observing their cues.
Yes.
Understanding how they communicate.
Right.
And giving them those chances to express themselves.
Oh, we should do a whole deep dive just on that.
We should.
Because it is so important.
It's not.
Communication isn't always words, right?
It is. It's body language, facial expressions.
Yeah.
Even just changes in their behavior.
And when everyone feels like they're actually heard...
Yes.
it can really cut down on the stress and the arguments.
100%.
Right.
Because it builds that foundation of empathy and respect.
Where everyone feels valued.
Exactly.
Like you're building bridges instead of walls.
I love that. It's teamwork.
Yeah.
It's like you're all on the same team.
Facing those challenges together.
Exactly.
And we have covered so much in this deep dive.
We have.
From like the nitty-gritty of managing stress to...
self-care support networks, advocating for your kid, even finding those bright spots in all the chaos.
Those moments of joy.
As we wrap up, is there like one big thing you want our listener to take away from all of this?
If I had to boil it all down to one message, it would be you are not alone.
Oh, I love that.
This journey of raising a child with autism, it can feel so isolating.
It can.
But there are other people out there, other parents, caregivers, professionals. They're ready to support you. You just have to find them.
Yes. And it's not just about finding that support.
It's about creating it, reaching out,
100%.
sharing your story.
Yes.
Building those connections because it makes all the difference.
It does. It makes all the difference. And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Oh, yeah.
When you need it.
Please.
No guilt, no shame.
It's not a sign of weakness.
Not at all.
It's a sign of strength.
It is.
And we know every child, every family is different.
Absolutely.
So this article, it's a great starting point.
A great framework.
But find what works for you.
Exactly.
Make it your own.
Yes. Find what resonates.
Yes.
And adapt it to fit your family.
Because that's what really matters.
It is.
Finding your way.
Absolutely.
And as we wrap up, here's a final thought for you listening.
Okay.
What's one little thing
you can do today?
Right now.
To take care of yourself.
Or to connect with your family.
Love that.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep embracing this incredible journey.